Hi everyone, welcome. So my name's James and I am the CEO and co-founder of the ASO Co. The name pretty much does what it says on the tin, so I probably don't need to explain exactly what we do as a business. But just a little bit of background, we've been going for about a year. My business partner and I actually come from about 10 years in media, of which 5 of that was all performance mobile media. And the whole kind of point of setting up this business was to kind of take a lot of the performance elements and put those into ASO, which people still struggle to really show performance, and that's what we really want to do. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Trisha Harry. Trisha is a client of ours, and she's the lead growth mobile strategist.
I have a very fancy title.
A very fancy title.
Yeah, but don't get faced by that.
No, I won't. Over at eBay, and I'm thrilled to have her on stage. We love working with these guys. So I'm going to kind of just kick it off straight away. And ask. So first of all, I think everyone knows who eBay is, which is great, hopefully. Does anyone not know who eBay is? Good. Tell us a little bit about kind of eBay's mobile growth story, kind of where it came from and kind of where it's at. I think will be interesting.
So as everyone may or may not know, eBay is like one of the largest marketplaces that's out there. We have over 1 billion listings. And we were also, quite intuitive back in 2011, where we started noticing the trends towards the digital e-commerce trends. And we decided to go ahead into the mobile space and building applications. And as we grew, we started noticing that buyers were more and more inclined to making purchases on their mobile devices. And so there was a whole section within eBay that was dedicated for building applications and also, making purchases and experiences through the mobile web. And one of the things that, we started looking into, I think Patrick earlier mentioned, was the whole trilingual conversation, where we're not only like looking into, the technology itself, but rather want to think about it across all the different angles with businesses and data. So from that, we were able to understand, yes, we as an organization, we had the whole strategy sorted out. So we had a lot focus on search engine optimization. But if more and more of our users are going to be on mobile, we wanted to start thinking about how to create a better experience, but also to get more of them to start coming onto the mobile application and start converting into, a buyer that's actually making purchases or selling products on our platform.
Okay, cool. So I guess the big question, and obviously we've talked about this before, but how did eBay get into ASO? Like why ASO? I mean, you're such a big brand. Why would eBay need ASO?
So the other thing we started noticing was we saw at least 10 million listings on mobile, in a week. So that's a huge number. And so we had a whole push for mobile, where we're not talking about just mobile first, but we're thinking about it as, iPhone first, or Android first, or iPad first. So at that stage, we started realizing, look at our rankings within the store. And we started seeing there were players that we didn't even know existed out there. And so that's why we started thinking, well, if we're doing search engine optimization, it only makes sense if we're doing an app store optimization. And so that's kind of when we approached you guys. And, and one of the things that we knew off the bat was anyone who goes into the store, we see them being a bigger converter to getting more of the GMV, which is what we call as the growth market value. So that's really why we started focusing on the customer lifetime value as far as mobile growth strategy goes. And, ASO made the most sense for us in that regard.
I think that's a really interesting point, actually, because it was quite surprising. I mean, I think this is actually a good point for everyone, is that you might be a massive global player, but in the App Store, it's almost like it's a level playing field, which is a big opportunity for anyone. It's for anyone who's smaller, but obviously if you're a big brand, it's kind of you can't just kind of sit on it and just expect to appear for all those searches.
Ironically, we were before we started working with you guys, if you go ahead and search for certain keywords, as basic as shop or buy and sell, we didn't even show up. I think we might have been like ranked 40 or 35. But like now we're actually like in there. And perhaps like, you know, the competitors we were thinking were like Amazon or something like that, but we never thought of, you know, let go or any of them until we started focusing on the App Store optimization itself.
Nice, okay. So what have we done?
What have
and has
you
it
done?
worked?
Definitely, like I said, you know, we were not there in the rankings at all, even though like eBay is a well-known brand. But if you go into the App Store, we were not even a player out there. So it definitely has worked. And
Good.
Yeah, it was just definitely there. So if you look up shopping or shop, you're definitely there. One of the interesting things that I really liked about working, can you guys hear me? Sorry.
We lost it.
Me. Hello? Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So one of the things that I really loved about it was the localized metadata. So we never really, I mean, first of all, we didn't, you know, even look into App Store optimization at all. And then once we did, we started looking into the localization piece, and that was something that was very eye-opening for us. I think one of the interesting case study we have, as you know, is the French one. Yeah.
France was France was crazy, right?
Exactly.
It was.
Yeah.
So what's really interesting is that I think a lot of businesses they'll look at localization and they'll look at metadata. And obviously, yes, metadata is a very important part of localization. You need to look at competitors and different keywords and things like that. But actually, because of eBay's size, actually for any business, what we decided to do was go a bit deeper.
Yeah.
And actually, in a specific market, can I say which market it is?
Yeah, France.
Yeah, so in France, the growth wasn't as eBay's markets. They all grow. They're all going up, which is great. But it wasn't as the trajectory wasn't as large. And I think. So we use things like Global Web Index and ComScore and Forrester and those sorts of things. And what came out was that there's loads of news, loads of entertainment on mobile, loads of playing games and stuff like that. But actually shopping was really, really low actually. So when we write the content in that particular market, yes, we have the right keywords in there, but actually we lead with the benefits of actually shopping on mobile rather than obviously how great eBay is.
That definitely gave us an edge, in regards to our competitors because because of ASO, we were able to identify that opportunity, which we would not have otherwise. And we do spend a lot of money into the native applications, and it's kind of moot if you're not able to even find it within the store. So it kind of like really brings me to the other piece that I was very fascinated with, working with ASO. And that's really conversion. So, in the past, we never really looked about the old screenshots or the image assets. We had a design team that gave us, generic assets from, whatever we put on the homepage, but we never really leveraged it on for the App Store optimization itself. But today, we're able to work our campaigns together, be it like spring break or St. Paddy's Day. So if we're going with that, we're able to work with you guys to go in hand, and that really helps with conversion because it's relevant and it's all about being contextual to your audience. So.
Yeah, and I think what we saw, and this is what we see quite a lot, and you guys were like, yes, this is what we're doing, is that what was in there originally was very product focused.
Yes.
So it was like, we've got a new wish list and this button is green now. Yeah. And I think the reality is that no one really cares about that.
It's not relevant, no.
Exactly. Yeah. And there was also another interesting one around kind of, you wanted to gear it more towards buyers, but then the video was all about selling and stuff like that. So it was kind of like
because selling was the latest feature that we released.
Exactly.
So we're just trying to show that off.
Exactly. And I think it's really great now the kind of story. Well, actually, we've just done the rebrand, so the assets in there obviously got the new eBay rebrand, which looked really good. But prior to that, it kind of went from this is our new wish list to literally we had buy, search, sell. On the first one, it was a full thing. Yeah.
Very contextual.
Yeah, I think the increase we saw on that one was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I can't exactly share the exact numbers, but definitely from 3.0, which were back in 2013, to today we're at 5.8 version, and we've done a growth study on that, and we've definitely seen a massive spike from 4.0, and I'd like to think it was exactly when we had started working with you guys.
I'm sure it probably was.
But we definitely saw it like go up, and that's really what really got us to think that ASO was the right bet to place. At that time, where we're working so hard on, not just thinking mobile first, but really thinking about it from different applications. And, from the different stores perspective, we needed ASO to support us with that.
Yeah. And I think in addition to that, what we've also done, which has been very exciting, is look at more than just kind of keywords and create. Keywords and creative are obviously a very important part of the process, but you just mentioned reviews, things like managing uninstalls, I think usage and retention. So looking at.
So that's like our biggest focus at the moment, which is retention. And that kind of fits in really well with our partnership with ASO. Because as everyone probably knows, it's you spend a crap ton of money to like getting the users in. But one of the biggest, issues that almost everyone faces is losing their users. And one of the studies that we did was you have exactly 4 days to retain your users, and after that, they quickly drop off. So with the support of ASO, we're trying to understand and gauge what our users actually appreciating and what they're not. Getting that feedback is so helpful for us to really retain the users. And the next push for our next year is definitely user retention.
Okay, good. So I'm very happy that it's all going well, of course. But as we know, there have been challenges.
It's definitely been challenges.
Do you want to sort of talk through some of those challenges?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge has been attribution. So we're all about like any funding that we put in towards anything. We're all looking about ROIs, and it's really tough when you can't attribute it back to where it's coming from. So within the stores, we can see what the metrics look like. But one of the things that I really appreciate you guys doing is mitigating those issues that we've had by using your data and really showing to us how you've tested it and how relevant it is. And so we're able to like gauge, at least get some form of a gauge, rather than no gauge at all, to really justify saying how relevant ASO is to any application that's out there. So that's been one of the challenges. And then the other challenge, like I mentioned earlier, was in the past we didn't really focus on App Store itself. A lot of our focus was within the desktop and the eBay homepage. So when we started looking more into the application side of the world, we started seeing, here we are, in 2017, and we started looking into conversions, and we started looking into metadata, we started looking into titles, like key search words, and so with that, we've got a lot of teams already focusing on it, so kind of encroaching into different people's territories. So we wanted everyone to come align. So we wanted the design team to come together, we wanted the marketing, operations, and most importantly, the product tech team to come together. And in a bigger organization, that's always a challenge to get everyone bought in on it. But the numbers that you guys have showed has spoken for itself, and we've overcome those issues.
Yeah, I think that's definitely. So I think for the audience, I think if there's anyone I think probably actually it doesn't even have to be in a larger company, but I think having everyone on board from the beginning, so whether it's product, marketing, tech, it's definitely brand teams. I think, I mean, if I can't count the amount of hours that I've spent with all the localization teams, kind of explaining why we're doing something and why we've put something in a certain place.
Exactly.
And
but it all kind of worked out at the end because so we started off with the eBay application itself, and then as you know, like we've got different applications within the eBay family, and so now I know you guys are working with StubHub and with eBay Classifieds. So I feel like the struggles that we had, they have definitely reaped the benefits of that. So they don't have to go through the process that we did go through. But at the end of the day, like I genuinely see, all of us, be it StubHub, eBay app, or Classified, all of us are really like almost instantaneously seeing the results as soon as we get into the ASO game.
Yeah, definitely. Nice. Okay. How long are we good? Yeah, okay, great. Well, actually, if it's okay, I was going to open up for questions if anybody's got any.
I feel like this audience never asked any questions.
No questions?
All day
Come on,
today.
someone must have a question. I can keep on talking, absolutely. That wouldn't be a problem. Oh.
Hey James, it's Andrew from Owusi. How's it going? Really interesting talk. I was wondering, you were talking about optimizing and just, relying on eBay to these learnings. How has been the process? How long it took you guys to get from where you started to where you're at right now?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I think getting the basics right was it took a few months
to get the data. So we had to work with the analytics team. So that took almost like a quarter. It took us a quarter to get there. Yeah.
So it takes time, but I think what's really interesting actually is we're actually finalizing at the moment, so we can't go too much into it. But the strategy for eBay is very different now to what it was 6 months ago.
But it's always evolving. Isn't it? Yeah.
But I think you always kind of start just going for the most obvious, the most high volume or whatever keywords. I think the other interesting thing is things like seasonality. Yeah. I mean, seasonality certainly with someone like eBay plays a massive part in it.
The whole spring break, St. Paddy's Day, like that. Yeah, it's just. Like buy a snorkel or something and you have someone in a snorkel in there,
Yeah, and now you've got the big days like Black Friday and Cyber
That was
Monday,
huge actually for us. So one of the things that I really could see the numbers coming in was during the holidays, we had the image assets with the whole holiday season with the lights and the capability to do the A/B testing really helped us to understand what our audiences were fascinated by and how the holiday season itself, we had this huge push with ASO.
Yeah.
So
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
So obviously when we work together, we sort of come to you and we talk about what we're doing. Yeah. So how hard is it for you to sell it internally?
Oh my gosh, that's it's really I can't even that's my full-time job. It's quite like I said, within any organization. We have different teams that have different metrics and are aligned, even though there's a unified approach. Sometimes it's not, when a new concept is being introduced, you need to kind of get the buy-ins from different stakeholders. But the good thing about working with ASO is you guys have the numbers to show for, and we were able to see your case studies and really understand that. And internally itself, as soon as we kicked it off, within less than a quarter, we were able to see how our rankings were impacted, and that you can't deny. And that was the initial starting point of any conversation that we had is look at our rankings. You can't, not be aware of that. And so I think internally that has definitely been one of the biggest push for getting ASO.
Good, cool. Thank you so much. It's been really good, and thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, thank you.